Welcome everyone for this Hyderabad meetup on 11 July, that is today. And thank you for taking time out on a Saturday. And we're really happy to present you two sessions. And I'll be giving my session on PSA time entries approvals using Power Automate. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of project service automation in Dynamics 365. Um, so I'll give a little briefing about that before actually digging into the topic. But let me share some info about myself. Um, my name is Priyesh Wagh. I'm a Dynamics 365 consultant with CloudFronts Technologies in Mumbai. That's our website, and that is my blog, d365demystify.com. And you can also follow me on Twitter, Priyesh underscore WNGman7. And the QR code is for my LinkedIn. So feel free to reach out to me for any questions you might have regarding this session or otherwise, and I should be really happy to help you out. Right. So I'll share this info again towards the end of the session. Let's start with this. So first of all, what we're going to do today is we're going to look at what project service automation or PSA time entries are, how are time entries submitted, who approves them, what is the process that is typically followed out of the box. Then we're going to look at what can we do to inculcate all of this inside flows or Power Automate. I already have a flow prepared. I'm going to walk you through what flow I prepared or the Power Automate I prepared. Then we'll just do a couple of examples, in one of which we will approve a particular time entry, and in the other one we'll just reject it, right? So let me start. So just to give you some theory about PSA time entries, let me give you a quick introduction about project service automation. So project service automation is a module inside Dynamics 365, uh, which was core CRM before, where if you are a professional services company, or if you're a chartered accountants company, or if you're any company who follows a typical model of resources being assigned on a project and they working their way through the week, and they submit their time entries based on what work they did or what items they worked on. And after that, once they submit their time entries, before this all goes to billing, the project manager actually has to check and approve those time entries in order to be sure that, oh, this is the work actually done, and hence this can be billed to a client or this cannot be, based on that. So there are some core records in Dynamics 365 which get created, and which all will touch each other in this process. Let me walk you through all of those. So first of all is time entry is a record in Dynamics 365. More broadly speaking, it is available in CDS if you have project service automation already. Let's say if you work on a couple of hours on a project on a certain task and you submit that time, there is a project manager on each of the project who is designated to be handling the approvals of the time entries. If he thinks everything looks good, he can just press a button and approve, which I will show you in Dynamics as well, post this slide. Once he approves that, that particular time entry is actually accounted into the project. If he rejects, he would have the option to place some comments that why the project manager rejected certain time entries, right? um, that being said, if so once you approve time entries, there are another type of records that get created, that is the actuals. So when you create a time entry, nothing happens, but when you submit a time entry, a project approval record is created and journal line records are created. So the flow that we are going to do is going to kick off of the project approval record, because it actually enters the stage of having to approve or reject. And then a journal line is also created which contains information about what are the financials or how many hours should be billed or what is the amount and all of that sort. That's still too much into PSA side. I will not touch that. But if now and when a project manager approves those time entries, though the actual records are converted. Actuals meaning the actual amount of time that is built on the project. Actual records are the source of truth for any project. and those account up to what revenue that project is getting back, right? So this was just the overview. Let me go into dynamics. So this is the flows approach. We'll come back here, but let me show you the dynamics part of it. Okay. Um, so as you can see my screen, I'm in project service. So this is PSA basically. And in project service, I have my entities which I'm supposed to interact with. So I have projects, I have schedule board where I look who is allocated or where there are resources and role. So there is one entity called as time entry, which has this grid. Every week I come to this grid and I make certain time entries. And then once I'm sure that this is what I worked on this particular day for these many number of hours on a certain project, I submit all of this data and a time entry record is created, right? So once I'm done for the week, I select time entries like this and then I click on submit, meaning now I'm sending these time entries to the project manager for the approval. So let's say this is the project, this is a project record. I'm working on these tasks, which I enter in the time entries and I submit it to the project manager. Now, if you're wondering where does a project manager come into picture, it's actually, if you look at the team, when you add certain team members to the project, you actually get to decide who should be the approver in the project. So in my case, I'm going to be, even though I'm a project manager, but I might not necessarily be a project approver. But let's say I have Kuldeep Gupta here, who is a project manager as well. But inside there's a field called as approver, which is set to yes or no. If he's supposed to approve, it will be yes, and he is the one who will receive these time entries for approval. Okay. Now let's say I have submitted these time entries. So I had submitted these two time entries for, I think this is 1st July. And I just submitted it, assuming Kuldeep is logged in from his system. This is me, but let's say if I pull up, yeah, so this is Kuldeep's login. So what he will see under approvals entity is that I have submitted two time entries for 7th July, right? So he can select these and he can either choose to approve or reject them, right? Let's try to approve one and let's try to reject one as well. So some sample comments I put here is that all he has to do is, okay, I will just approve this, right? So it just processes in the background and that time entry is sent for processing. So if it has any number of hours, those should be accounted to a project, that will happen. But if say there's this time entry which don't need to be approved, he needs to reject this. So he can select it like this and he can click on reject. So and he could enter some optional comment which is this won't work. This someone else, and I'll just so he will just reject a certain time entry like this, right? And then that won't be accounted for. So this is the process. This is the out of the box process, which is followed standard in PSA inside Dynamics. But let's say the project manager is a busy person and he might not have time to really remind himself to come into approvals and see what all he has to approve. And if he's on his emails all the day, isn't it wise to just send him all these time entries for approval on his email itself? And using approvals in Power Automate, all he has to do is approve them just by just by clicking a few buttons in the email itself, and his job is done, right? So that is the aim for today's session. I'm going to be sharing a flowchart of what we are actually aiming to do, what the process is, and how all this will pan out. And then followed by that, we'll be looking at one of the examples I did. Right. So let's say Priyesh Wagh, I submitted a time entry. A project approval record is created in my Dynamics 365. It's all behind the scenes. I'm not showing it anywhere. So a project approval record is created. My flow that I created, that will kick off. Once that flow starts, my flow will go and look in the project. It will go in my project team records. Let's say there were 4 members in there, right? Out of it, it will try to select who was the project approver, right? Then, oh no, sorry. Um, yeah, let me take a step back. Yeah, so what will happen is when the flow kicks off, a project approval record will be created. An approver will also be selected. But since my flow triggered on the project approval record, from that project approval record, I will try to pick the time entry that was submitted, right? Because project approval record is just a placeholder record which is created when a time entry is submitted. So you need to take some actions on the time entry as well, right? So what will happen is it will try to pick the time entry from the project approval record. Then it will check if the time entry is of type work, meaning it could be other types of time entries as well, like even for field service, for customer service, you can make time entries. So in that case, the type is different. So work meaning project service automation, right? So you have to remember this, that if the time entry is of type work, meaning it is a PSA time entry. If that is the case, I will just start the approval process and make that approval wait. So what happens is by this point, I have already selected a few fields which will support my approval process. And that will be used when I start an approval and make the approval wait, right? So let's say it goes to Kuldeep, who's my manager. It will sit in his mailbox till he either takes, either he approves or reject that. But let's say if he approves, then what happens is it will go back to the record that triggered this flow, that is the project approval record. It will update the field on the project approval record, the status to approved. Then it doesn't just end here. I also need to go to the time entry, which we selected here, and he needs to also change the status on the time entry record as well to approved, right? So what happens is in this process we are approving two records. One is the project approval, and the other is the time entry record itself. And then the flow just ends there, right? All the actual creation and all that process that happens in Dynamics 365's end. So our flow has nothing to do with that. We just have to, once it is approved, we just have to set these two to approved. Okay. Let's say if he rejects my time entry, then what happens is the project approval record is set with the stage as rejected. Again, the time entry status is set to the status of returned. It's not rejected here, it's returned in time entry, which we'll see. And remember the optional step we had selected whether to add certain nodes while rejecting. So he can do that because there's a box in approvals already where you can put in comments. So those are the actual approval responses. So I'm going to use that to actually create a note in the rejected time entry. Once that happens, the time entry is rejected. And optionally, there are very few instances where we actually want to let the resource know that their time entry was rejected. So it's a good idea, or it's a good practice, I would say, to let them know that their time entry was rejected so that they can take some timely action on it, right? But this is again an optional step, but I have done this as well, which I'll show you. And that again, ends, this process ends as well. So we are just trying to automate that process, and we are trying to simplify it using this flows approach, right? I hope this is clear so far, but for any questions, post the session, we'll have some time to address all those issues. Let's go ahead and look at the actual flow that I did, and I'll walk you through that. Which is here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so these are my time entries. I have to submit these two. Okay, so I'm just changing this plan a little. First, I will show you how this works. Then I will show you the actual flow. Okay. So this is my flow here. We'll walk through this, but first let me, do the actual demo. Okay, and then we'll walk through what the flow is. So let's say I have, so this is done. Yeah, so let's say I have these two time entries for 4 hours and for 2 hours. Let me submit this. So just to note here, I am logged in as myself, Priyesh Wagh. If I select my time entry, if I submit, My time entry's status changes to submit. Now, if I pull up Kuldeep's email box, so this is Kuldeep's login. He received an email for the time entry I submitted. Okay, this was the old one. Just hang on one second. Yeah, so this is the fresh email that got in. Yeah, so this is what I submitted. Yeah, these 4 hours I submitted, which came in here. So just looking at the emails, this is what he will see. That there is a project Beanhouse implementation. There is a task, and on 11 July I worked for 4 hours on that. And what comments I put in, like what did I actually work on. So he will see all of this. He can then either choose to approve or reject it. I have also added a link. If he clicks here, he can actually go to that record really quick and see if there's any other information that I've not included in the body for him to see. So this is also optional. It's a good idea to give a link again back to the record. Yeah. So this is the basic information. So let's say he decides to approve this. So I'm not doing anything with this optional part here. I'm just simply going and approving, submitting this, right? I just selected approve. I'm gonna submit it. But before that, let's go to the project and see how the actuals will come in. So okay, it's there. Yeah. So tracking. So actuals meaning whatever time entry is approved, those hours get added here in the actuals, and subsequently the percentages, right? So what I did was 4 hours will be added to, let's see which time entry. Oh, let's see which task that is. Yeah, so the task is go live and support. Yeah. So in here, in the tracking, go live and support, there are 3 hours, 4 more added hours will be added to it once Kuldeep approves that time entry, right? So let's go back to Kuldeep's PSA. Yeah, so this is what I'm going to approve now. Now, once I approve, it just goes away. That's it. Nothing else to be done for him. So without going into Dynamics, actually, he was able to just approve the time entries which I submitted, and that will be reflected in the project. So this should go to 7 hours, right? So 7 hours, 4 hours got added here, which made it to 7. So approval process is completed. What he did was he actually approved my time entry. Let's take at the second instance. The second instance is if there's a certain time entry, which I again submit. So let's go to his login. He will receive an email in a minute. While we are waiting for the email. So what happens is when you submit and approve all of this, records are created in Dynamics 365, whatever they have to be created, which you would anyway be created otherwise, and then they take care of their internal calculations and all of that. We are only handling the approval and rejection process here, right? So he got another time entry which I submitted, which was of 2 hours, which was again go live and support. So the other comment was like I help develop team to deploy to resolve some deployment issues. So he's not comfortable with whatever I have written here. He'll go and look at this time entry. He thinks it shouldn't have been here. So what he'll do is he'll actually click on reject, and he'll say that the time entry is not justified. Please resubmit another one. Okay, and then he will just reject that time entry. So according to our flow, what happens is if you reject a time entry, obviously actual records are not created because nothing goes back to the project. But what happens is the time entry is rejected, and if I refresh this same record again, Yeah, the time entry is returned. The project approval record which was associated this was got rejected, and the rejection comments get added to the notes here. Whatever he has put in, the time entry is not justified. Please resubmit another one. So we are trying to do the same out of the box steps in here using flows. So these are the two steps to it. Additionally, what happened with this is it also sends an email to the one who submitted the time entry. So if I open my mailbox, now there is an email here waiting for me, and it says that your time entry was rejected. Please correct the same. And what comments he entered was the time entry is not justified. Please resubmit another one. And also I've been given a link to click here and see what was the time entry actually I did wrong. So it would just give me this record to show me that, oh, okay, my time entry was actually returned or it was rejected, right? So this was my actual grid. If we just refresh this, it will say that the 4 hours we approved, this will be approved, and this particular time entry will be returned, right? So let me just refresh. Yeah. Yeah, so on 7th, these 4 hours were approved, and these 2 hours which he rejected, the status was set to return, right? So this is how you can automate using Power Automate. But let's really look into the flow that I created and just to see how complex it is or how simple that it is to do, right? So if I click on edit flow, this is my flow. So I try to, the reason you see this flow is so lengthy is because I tried to break down each and every single step, like from creating variables and all. But if you're really an advanced user in flow, like if you're really a power user, you can do it in much lesser steps than I did. But just to, elaborate this well and what all little components we need in this, I try to I try to elongate this flow, right? So let's look at how this goes. First being my flow is triggered when a project approval record is created, as I mentioned. So what happens is once a project approval record is created, it will go and fetch all the project team members from the project which was in this record, right? And if the project approver was true, meaning remember I mentioned that there is a field in project team members where it says where it can be set to true or false, meaning there could be one or more people eligible to approve a certain time entry, right? So this is the query that I use in order to get the number of approvers for this project of which the project approval record was created, right? Then I'll just, this is what I just query. Separately, I'll also query the time entry from this project approval record because I need to, change the status of the time entry as well. So I'll need this later on, right? So I'm fetching the time entry as well. Then I'll fetch the project record as well. So the reason I'm doing this is just to get the name of the project. If you are an advanced user, you can use expand query to actually get the name of the project like this. But just to elaborate, in case you're not very comfortable in using all the advanced features here, you can separately call a project record, and this will actually give you the name of the record. Oops. So yeah. Then what happens is I will get the project task as well. So this is also something I will need. So for safer side, I have retrieved the project task as well. Okay. Then I'm using a duration field. So this one has a formula. This will actually store the hours submitted. So I have written a formula because usually what happens is the time entry records stores duration in minutes. So whenever you retrieve, you get it in 120, 240, and all of those. But to show the number of hours, I will use this formula to actually divide it and show it correctly, right? So that I don't see minutes, I see the actual hours. So this is what I use duration for. Then I have just declared a variable here called as time entry record link, meaning it is the link to that time entry on which if you click, it will take you to that time entry, be it a project manager or the resource itself upon rejection, right? So I'm not putting anything right here. I'll just leave it like this declared. So I'm also storing the project name variable. Remember I said that you can retrieve your project separately if you want the name. If you don't know how to retrieve the name field, because using the CDS connector, actually you get the lookup to the project and the type of the entity, that is the project msdyn underscore project entity, but you don't get the name. But if you're not comfortable using this, I made an extra call to just get the name. So that's what I'm just storing it here in my project name variable, right? Then I am making a URL constructor variable, which I will use further down. So this URL constructor will simply construct the record link, right? So next, I've just created a variable called as approval outcome variable. What happens is I'll use this based on the outcome of the approval, that is if it's either approve or reject. Then I will store I'll use another variable to store the email of the time entry owner, meaning in this case myself, that is Priyesh. He will, I'll just store my own email address there. Approval email variable. I do use this somewhere. Okay, we'll come back to this. Yeah, so the approver email meaning the project manager's email. So I'll use this variable to store the approval email variable, right? Next step was to check if the time entry submitted is of type work according to our flowchart, meaning it's an option set inside Dynamics. So obviously msdyn underscore entry type field, the value should be 0, meaning that it is actually a time entry. If there's nothing, we have just ended it right there. Okay. So what happens is so from the project approver record. So I'll show you. I'll highlight it here. Yeah. So what happens is we are actually trying to retrieve the bookable resource record from the approver, meaning let's say there was only one approver retrieved. Where did that go? Yeah, there was only one approver retrieved in the team member, but that is actually a team member record in a project. From a team member, there is a lookup to some entity called as bookable resource, meaning that is the actual resource in Dynamics 365. To just clarify this doubt, I'll just open up this. So these are the team member records, but you see there's a bookable resource here. So this goes inside an actual bookable resource. So if I click here, this opened an actual resource, meaning an actual bookable resource. So it is again, tied to a user and all of that. So this can be used in your project service and scheduling and whatnot, right? So let's go down. Yeah. So we retrieve the bookable resource so that we can go ahead and further retrieve the user's email address so that we can use this to send the approver that email that, take this email address and send it to this because he's the approver. He should be able to approve and reject that particular time entry, right? So I'm just setting certain variables here. So the project name variable I declared above, I've just set it here. Then I've retrieved the bookable resources, which I'm just making a call, and then I'm, retrieving that one resource. So this is the time entry resource. What we did here was the approver. What we are retrieving here is the time entry, the one who made the time entry. So Priyesh in this case and Kuldeep in this case, right? Two bookable resources will be retrieved. I'll just do some parsing. That is actually to get the URL. So this will return the name of the environment up until here. And then I have a few more options I did to construct it. I'll show you just down the line. Yeah, so first, now we have retrieved bookable resource record still here, but it's not enough because you need to also retrieve the email addresses of each of those users. So one of this, I'm trying to store the user of the bookable resource used in the approver, and then the user of the bookable resource in the time entries bookable resource, right? So I'm retrieving the system user records of both of these because in that I have my email addresses. If you have done some advanced customization already, you can store your email addresses in the bookable resource record itself so that you don't have to go in another level to this user record and then try to retrieve the email addresses. Okay. So I'm just storing the email addresses of the approver and email addresses of the time entry owner. Then this is where I use the link. So this is how I generate. Remember, I picked it from the parse. I parsed something here, right? So that was I parsed only the. Let me not click here. Yeah. So I simply passed all the results here, and in that I will. So odata.id will give me the URL host. So OData ID, this field actually holds the name of the environment. So I'll just pass it, and URI host, meaning it will give me this part, leaving HTTPS here. It will give me, then I add my own HTTPS slash, then the environment name. And then I have, this is something that I have constructed, which will open up a time entry record. Which is used, you saw where you clicked on the time entry link and it opened a record, right? So I can set my own options. If I want to show the command bar, if I want to show the navigation bar and all of that, you can set it here. So this is how you finally populate your time entry record link, and that record link goes in here, which is the item link. So our next step is to start an approval. So there are 4 types. The reason I select first to respond, because if there are 2 approvers and if either of them approves, we don't need to wait for the other one. So that's why I've selected first to respond, just to keep things simple as possible. Then the project name that I retrieved, I'll just say time entry was submitted for that project. In our case, this is the Beanhouse implementation project, I guess. Then we can say assigned to. So assigned to, this was the approver email I created above. So finally, what I'm doing here is just populating and arranging my approval based on all the variables and links that I gather up until now, right? So I have, the time entry that I retrieved in the second step. I'm just getting what date that time entry is for, because you should know, usually time entries are submitted towards the end of the week, so the approver should know for which date this time entry was for. Again, I'll just reuse the same project name, the task name as well, because I retrieved the task as well. Then the hours, this actually came from the duration field, which above I converted by dividing by 60, because I get the time entry duration in minutes. Next is some comments that you put while submitting the time entries. That you can show. You can either choose to have external comments. The reason I kept external comments is because these are the comments that will actually go out to the customer if you are sending them some kind of invoice, or if you are sending them some kind of report as to why you're billing them, right? And then this link, this particular link, which takes to the time entry record, I have just named it as go to time entry. So this is what it will appear every time they see this link, right? They can just click on this link and it will open. Now, till the flow reaches this step, it will wait for the approver to take an action. Let's say if I approved this, after that, it will check the outcome of the status. If it is approved, so these are all the standard values, right? So if the outcome is approved, what happens is it simply goes and updates 2 records, that is the project approval record and the time entry record, which is set to approved as well. And that's it, nothing else. I'll just expand this. Yeah, so the time entry is set to approved, and here the the project approval is also set to approved, right? So these 2 fields are set. Then it's the job of PSA to actually create those actual records and do some calculations, whatever lies behind the scenes, right? But our process ends here if the time entry is approved. So this ends here. Now, let's say if the status is reject. So on a safer side, just add an or condition and properly, set these values to if the outcome is set to reject. But I just, I was a bit lazy and I just left it like that. So yeah, so when it is rejected, it will go here. Now the same record, I will just set this to rejected, which is here, and further down, I will reject the time entry. The status in the time entry will be set to returned. If I expand this, the status is set to returned. And obviously, the time entry, the one who submitted the time entry, that is me. I should know who rejected the time entry, right? Even though I know I have one project manager, but that's why I'm tagging the approved by field by the user record. So this is again the same user record which we retrieved above because we needed to use them, at different places, right? So that's how a time entry is rejected. Uh, then there was an optional part where if you enter some comments, that is stored in resource responses comments, I will create a note record on the time entry, right? So the regarding field of that note, that is the annotation entity, will be time entry, because I want to put notes on the time entry. So whatever comments the approver has made while rejecting the time entry, those will be set to that particular time entries, right? And the last step that I'm doing here is I'm trying to send an email to let the one who submitted time entry know that the time entry has been rejected. You might want to look at it. So it will just, all the email addresses are stored in the variables above, that the time entry email of the time entry owner. I'll just set it here. I'll say that the time entry was rejected for which project, for this project. And then I'll just add some basic details around here, just show them the comments immediately, and again give the same link to the same record, because the time entry record is the same, so I'm using this variable again. And that is the end of my process. So this was my flow, even though it looks like it's pretty lengthy. If you have less things to do, you can. If you have more ideas on how you want to retrieve multiple records at once using, so you can even do fetch XML to retrieve all the related records like time entry, bookable resource, if you're that advanced in fetch XML, and if you're that advanced in using retrieving data using CDS connectors. But this is just to understand the fundamentals. I have to break down every single variable that I have used. So that was the process, that was the entire process. And this is something I thought this could be useful in some organizations where they can submit time entries and it goes to the project manager to approve, instead of him remembering to come to approvals section every time and then selecting and approving or rejecting them. I hope it was useful. That is the end of my session here, but let's look at the questions. I can see. Yeah.
Do you want me to read that out for you? The question?
No, I'm just looking at the chat. I can see first question by Neha. Can a project manager approve their own project hours? Yes, because project managers, they are approvers themselves. They can approve their own hours, because then it will be an endless one who is on the top. So project manager obviously has to make that wise decision that my hours are true and correct, because if there's anything, he'll be the one answerable as to why certain hours were approved by him. So usually they all take care of that manually. Then I have another question from Arun. Can I recall my time entries to manager? Yeah. So I haven't added the recalling part in this flow, but out of the box in PSA, you can have it, and you can have, like, every time you approve a time entry, if that is already recalled, you can actually have a check in your flow that, oh, this time entry was recalled, don't do anything. So even if a project manager approves that time entry by mistake or rejects it, you can add that extra branch of functionality to tell the project manager again that, oh, sorry, the time entry that you were actually trying to approve or reject was recalled. So that's the way how you can take care of it. These were two questions. I can see hands up by Prashant. Prashant, you can unmute and ask me.
Hi, Priyesh. Just wanted
hi,
to say, great presentation and great content. But I do have a question which is related to approvals. So
sure.
Can we not have something like, let's say there is a resource who is deployed on a project for 2 days a week, and we want to auto-approve it because we know that he's working on a project, and that's a practical scenario, right? You don't want to go every time and approve it because they're deployed at a client for 2 days a week for sure.
Right.
just
Okay.
auto approve it. Is there a way to do it within PSA, or we'll have to use Power Automate?
It's not within PSA, but you can have a small Power Automate to, who I think the project manager can quickly say that, hey, let me create a Power Automate that if this is the user and if this is the project, if a time entry is created on this day or whatever condition you might have, just set the status to approve so that project manager don't have to approve it all the time and it directly goes forward to invoicing and all of that. So yeah, so such applications or such manipulations can be done using Power Automate, because behind the scenes it's just about changing a few record statuses that take the process forward.
Cool. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Great. Do we have any more questions? No, I think that's the end of the questions. Neha says thanks. Thank you, Neha. And for everyone else, I hope this was useful. If at all you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on my LinkedIn, or you can tweet to me, or you can just basically, get in touch with me. I also post about PSA, sometimes about Power Automate and Power Apps as well. So just a quick tip that project automation is now sunsetting, but if you're already using PSA, you still have about over 2 years to continue using that. Project operations is the new product now, and this will be in general availability in from 1st October. So just something as a tip for all of you. And yeah, in case the flow was a little confusing, if you had any questions about how I did a certain thing, please reach out to me. I'm here also for the next session by Yash Kamdar. And meanwhile, I'll try to look at the chat, and you can reach out to me and have your questions answered. I hope that was a useful session for you, and I hope you took something out of that. And that's it from my end. I'll hand over to Ritika and Yash.